Do not gossip or give unnecessary advice. Do not tell others about your private life more than necessary. Over time, human relationships continue to change. We are very close now, but we may part ways in a few years. No relationship can last forever. It would be a headache if I had a bad relationship with someone who knew all about my deep personal life. In particular, be careful not to be exposed to the judgment and criticism of others, especially in bad habits or family matters. Keeping certain parts of your life secret will give you a sense of being more dignified and respectable. Don't talk about things the other person hasn't asked. The characteristic of a fool is to talk a lot about things that are not asked. Fools constantly evaluate, label everything, and judge arbitrarily. Haven't you ever had a bad feeling at the end of a day when you talked a lot about yourself? I regret that it would have been better not to talk, but the next day I get drunk and talk a lot about myself, regret it again, and repeat it. You need to know that overconfidence will alienate people rather than get closer to them. Especially since the more you talk about it, the more deadly it can be, so there are things you need to keep secret. Don't talk about other people's flaws. You will realize that easily spitting out someone's bad points makes your image increasingly negative. Even if you feel like you are on the same side because you gossip with someone, you become suspicious at the decisive moment. You will miss the moment when trust is needed socially. The words that come out of your mouth come back to you. Avoiding negative stories is a great help in your social life. Even when you have to disagree with the other person's opinion or teach him that he is wrong, do not speak directly. But say it in a subtle and witty way, as if you accidentally remembered the fact that the other person forgot. Even close friends and family say that this is all for you, but in reality it means, you are wrong and I am right. Even close friends and family say that this is all for you, but in reality it means, you are wrong and I am right. Each of us has our own individual circumstances. It is enough to empathize and listen. Do not gossip or give unnecessary advice. Don't tell others about my weaknesses. Bitter and cruel, humans find solace in the weaknesses of others and secretly enjoy them without even realizing it. When you make your child do something, leave room for excuses, even if they are somewhat wrong. Harsh reprimand makes a child freeze. Do not try to teach your child to be strict and violent. Think about your child's interests and guide them. That way, the child himself will find out where his abilities are headed. A child who is afraid of the dark can be taught to overcome her fear. But children who are afraid of the light cannot learn to love it. A child is always ready to learn, but a person is the opposite. There is nothing wrong with repeating good things. A good thing can be done many times because it helps society grow and develop. One good deed always brings a lot of hope and positive vibes to others. To test a man, deprive him of all his property and treat him unfairly. If you tolerate being deprived of your property, But if you can't stand injustice, keep it close and treat it well. If you are a person who tolerates ill treatment but cannot resent being deprived of property, stay away from it or avoid it. There is nothing more unfortunate than living with your heart set on something you cannot get. Exercise is not harmful to the body even if it is compulsory. However, knowledge acquired through force does not remain in the mind. Good decisions are based on knowledge, not numbers. What you have in mind becomes reality. We can change reality by changing our mind. After the duty is done, there is the pleasure. No matter how great your sorrow is, do not accept the pity of the world. For pity contains thoughts of contempt. Virtue is beauty. Virtue is the good mode of being of the soul. Vice, on the other hand, is ugliness. Vice is the bad mode of being of the soul. If you want to make money, you have to spend it. Suppose that in everyone's heart there is a home for all kinds of birds. Some birds form flocks, while others fly alone to any place. These birds are knowledge, and when we were young, this cage would have been empty. And if a man has put and stored any kind of knowledge in us, he can be said to have learned or discovered the things that are the objects of knowledge. Love is the desire to have good things forever. Courage is a kind of salvation. The less the state of bodily pleasure, the greater the pleasure and charm of conversation. We are in bondage to our bodies. As long as our souls are tainted with the evils of the body, we are never satisfied. Justice is having what suits you and doing what suits you. Justice means that each person does his or her own job and does not disturb or interfere with others. All knowledge independent of justice is useful knowledge, not wisdom. Honesty is farther away from money than dishonesty. Goodness is obtained by making happiness mine, and the content of goodness is in eternity. So we shouldn't be led by what we can't keep forever. Plato, ancient Greek philosopher.